the Patthāna, often regarded as a jewel of the Abhidhamma and the surest proof of the Buddha's omniscience, is a system of 24 aspects. These can be regarded as grammatical rules, which apply to the vocabulary of the four Paramatthā that we have talked about in a previous video. So in this video, I will focus on giving an overview over these 24 Patthāna conditions. Remember, in a previous video, we talked about the four Paramatthā: matter, mind, consciousness, and nibbana. These can be regarded as the vocabulary of insights into existence. Now the Patthāna gives 24 grammatical rules as to how these relate to each other, or how they may operate or exist in the world. The idea is quite similar to mathematics, where numbers as 0 to 9 can be related to each other by operations such as plus, minus, multiplication, and division. In a similar manner, the four Paramatthā, matter, mind, consciousness, and nibbana, can be related to each other or otherwise operate by means of these 24 Patthāna conditions. So in this video, we'll give a brief overview over these. But first let us recall and clarify what we mean by the four Paramatthā. In this video, whenever we refer to matter, we will mean by that either the matter of the body with its different parts and internal processes, or the external environment. Whenever we refer to mind, we will mean by that emotions and thoughts. Whenever we refer to consciousness, we will mean by that a person's individual way of perceiving the world, or simplified, a person's individuality. While the aspect of nibbana in this video will be covered just by an explanation as to how a particular aspect or condition relates to the path out of suffering and the path out of limitations. So let us begin with the first Patthāna condition. Condition of roots or inner establishments. This condition is concerned with what happens when the mind takes root in the body, or when an idea takes root in the mind. When the mind takes root in the body, the two begin to manifest certain capabilities. These may range from a very simple capacity to look after the body, as a growing infant is working on, to a capacity to control the emotions, as well as to master the mind faculty, which in a human body works through the brain. On the other hand side, when an idea gets established in the mind, a being begins to manifest things like virtues and vices. So if a positive idea or a positive set of ideas are established in the mind, a being slowly becomes virtuous. While if a negative or harmful idea gets established in the mind, a being starts to develop vices. Now, the purpose of understanding this Patthāna condition is that it can give us an insight into how to develop virtues, how to develop character, or how to develop a skill through adopting our mind to our body. Number 2, condition of objects or supports. The mind is something that exists not in a vacuum. Rather, the mind is continuously conditioned by objects coming through the senses. Hence, if we want to understand the mind, it is important to understand that to a large degree, the mind is a product of objects which, through becoming sense impressions, become ideas in the mind. These ideas, along with those sense impressions, stabilize and support the mind, as usually a mind without an object quickly collapses into unconsciousness. Hence, the purpose of understanding this Patthāna condition is first to understand the contents of the mind, and secondly, to understand how to condition the mind by choosing wisely the objects we contact with our senses, as well as the ideas we allow our minds to hold. Number 3, condition of governance or inner mastering. This condition concerns itself with how a person may be mastered or governed. There are 5 types to this condition. Either a person may be governed or mastered from without by the environment, or a person may be governed from within. Now, in regard to the second condition, there are 4 distinct kinds of how a person may master himself. A person may either master himself by will, or by effort, or by mental pliancy or creativity, or by scientific curiosity or scientific interest. So these are the 5 types of how a person may be mastered. Now, when any of these become established, they essentially become a personality type. Hence, understanding this condition helps us to understand the nature of personality types, with their strength and their weaknesses. Number 4, condition of combination. Nothing that we experience through our senses is fundamental. All things are a combination of things. In physics, we learn that all material things are made up of atoms, and even atoms are made up of subatomic particles. Our body is basically a combination of organs. Any organ is basically a combination of cells, and these cells in the end again break down to molecules and atoms. However, even the mind is a combination of things. Through investigating countless sense impressions, we evolved words to name and group the things that we perceive through the senses. Many of these names and words in turn combine to become ideas. And many ideas become what we think of as our knowledge. Even things like an emotion is just a combination of factors like feeling, perceptions, and thoughts. Now, the benefit of understanding this condition is that we may come to understand that apparently solid things can be broken down and even be combined to become new things. So largely this condition is at the base of all creative endeavors. Number 5. Condition of sequentiality. This condition concerns the fact that both mental and material phenomena often occur in sequences. Examples of this condition are the stages of development of a human being, from an infant through a condition of a mature, fully grown human being, up to the condition of death. An example in relation to mental phenomena are the stages of the unfoldment of consciousness, from a condition of utter unconsciousness through the stage of sense consciousness to a condition of essentially super consciousness that is experienced in jhanas and in material attainments, as well as in enlightenment experiences. Even the path to enlightenment is a sequence of stages or steps a person has to walk or go through in order to arrive at the condition of full enlightenment. Now, the purpose of understanding this condition is that it can help us understand how to proceed from wherever we are now towards a position that we might want to go to, or towards a goal that we have put before ourselves. Number 6. Condition of synchronicity. This condition is concerned with the fact that there is a possibility that two or more things, that is, two or more mental or material phenomena, attune to each other or become synchronized. This can be seen in the formation of flocks of birds. It can be seen in schools of fish moving about in a very synchronized manner. It can be seen in musicians playing together to produce a song. It is cultivated in meditation through attempting to synchronize the mind with the breath or with certain physiological processes. And it can be perceived in those conditions that are usually called meaningful coincidences, which might have a psychic synchronicity as their base. Now, understanding this condition can help us to be more in tune with life and to value this kind of synchronicity. It can help us to be more in tune with others, as well as to be more in tune with ourselves. Number 7. Condition of correspondence. This condition concerns the fact that things of very different natures can be related to each other by finding one or more shared characteristics. Examples of this condition are relating the different stages of a day, from dawn in the beginning of a day to nighttime at the end of a day, to the different stages of development of a person, from an infant in the beginning of a life till a person on his deathbed at the end of a life. Other examples are relating the elements within our own body to the elements we find in our environment. For example, within our own body, we find many solid things, like our bones, and to a lesser degree, our muscles and organs, just as we find solid things like rocks and trees, and even earth in our environment. In a similar manner, in our own body, we can find many liquids. Our saliva, our blood, our bile, our urine. Just as we can find in the outside world, rivers, rain, and oceans. Similarly, with things represented by the fire element. Our own body has a certain temperature, and often that is intensified in our digestive organs. In a similar manner, we find that the outside world is warmed up by the sun, while lastly, even air or wind element can be found both within our body, especially as we inhale and exhale, as well as in the external world, where we find the atmosphere and the winds and even the air that we breathe in and out. Then, in regard to mental phenomena, we can relate, for instance, mental conditions like greed or anger or joy, or taken further, virtues and vices. And we can relate these to planes of existence, reaching from hell at one outer end up to heaven at the other outer end, wherein hell most appropriately corresponds to the condition of utter vice, taken to its utmost extreme, while heaven, on the other side of the spectrum, can be correlated to virtue, again taken to its furthest conclusion. So the benefit of understanding this condition is that it can help us to increase our understanding by relating one thing that we might not know much about to some things that we do know about, by seeing certain shared characteristics. Number 8. Condition of foundations. This condition concerns the fact that all things are built on a foundation. Nothing just stands on a void. If you want to build a house, you have to see to it that you build up on a stable basis. In a similar manner, if you want to find work in the world, usually you will require a certain amount of education and skill as a foundation. The same thing applies for the training of the mind. You cannot just build on nothing. Your mind, or the processes of your mind, actually work on the foundation of certain processes that occur in your body. So if you want to train your mind, you equally have to train your body. In a similar manner, your thoughts depend on the foundation of certain ideas that you have. If you want to build up knowledge, you can do so only based on a foundation of experience, thought, and ideas. So the benefit of understanding this condition of foundations is that we understand that whatever we want to build, we have to build upon an appropriate foundation. Number 9. Condition of interconnectedness or interdependence. This condition concerns the fact that all things are interconnected. Nothing exists in and of itself. The air we breathe in has been breathed out by the trees. The air we breathe out is again taken in by the trees. In a similar manner, whatever we take into ourselves comes from without, but we also all the time have to give something back in return. In a similar manner, within our body, everything is interconnected. Everything is connected through a network of nerves. Everything is suffused with blood, that is moved around the body by the heart. Everything depends on the energy that is produced by the digestive process. So everything within the body equally is interconnected and interdependent. But even in regard to the mind, whatever we think depends on outside information and outside contact. While at the same time, whatever is out there, we condition it with our actions and with our speech, which are manifestations of our thoughts. So we are continuously conditioned by the world and condition the world. Hence, everything is interdependent. And the benefit of understanding this condition is to feel more connected with life, to feel more connected with other people, with other beings, and act appropriately as a cell in a body, and not as if we were the center of the universe. Number 10. Condition of latency. This condition concerns the fact that there are phenomena in existence which do not possess the same concrete and perceivable qualities as manifest phenomena. A seed may contain within itself a whole tree in latent form. A battery may contain within itself the potential for lighting up a light bulb or for giving electricity to a computer. But in all such cases, the potential only becomes manifest with the right conditions. In a similar manner, there are mental phenomena associated with consciousness which only arise in certain circumstances. Our habits, our latent weaknesses, our defilements, as well as our strength and character qualities. These all, much of the time, exist only in a latent condition, and only when certain conditions arise become manifest. And that is the benefit of this condition, that if we understand this condition, we may more appropriately bring into manifestation our good potential and be more careful with keeping in check that negative potential does not become manifest. Number 11. Condition of manifestation. This condition concerns the fact that manifest phenomena are bound by conditions and by certain laws of the manifest world. In distinction to latent phenomena or phenomena that exist merely as potential, manifest phenomena have more actual power, but also more actual limitations. All the things we can perceive through our senses are phenomena of this category. But even a present thought, inasmuch as it manifests as words in our mind, comes under this condition. So, and the practical relevance of understanding this condition is to understand the limitations of real life. Number 12. Condition of repetition. This condition is about all things manifesting as repetition. From the yearly recurrence of the seasons, through physical and mental habits, to repetitions used for learning something, all underline the reality of this condition. Now, understanding this condition will help us to make predictions about things that occur at regular intervals. By that, it can help us understand habits, and through that, it can help us cultivate positive ones, as well as it can help us understand an important condition of learning. Number 13. Condition of karma. The condition of karma is about how the mind, or more specifically intention, is conditioning the future. This can happen in 4 different ways. The mind may either create entirely new potential for the future, or it strengthens already present potential, or it obstructs present potential, or it even destroys present potential. And this can happen in regard to mental potential or in regard to physical circumstances. So, and the benefit of knowing that is that we become more aware of our future. Number 14. Condition of the results of karma. This condition concerns the fact that every action, physical or mental, has a consequence. And in simplified form, we can say every good action or good intention has as a consequence a positive result, while every bad intention and every bad action has as a consequence a negative result. These results can occur shortly after the action, or they may occur somewhere throughout the life, or they may occur even after a person has died. So in a broader perspective, we can say very evil actions can lead to hell. Bad but less evil actions can lead to animal or ghost life, while positive actions can lead to a positive rebirth in a heavenly or even godly realm. So, and the benefit of understanding this Patthāna condition is that we become aware of the consequences of our actions and thoughts, which should help us become more skillful in predicting our future as well as in conditioning a positive future. Number 15. Condition of fuel or nutriment. This condition is about the fact that things don't just exist independently. Most things, both material, at least that is true for living things, as well as mental phenomena, require fuel in order to continue to exist. The body requires food, but even the mind requires the food of sense impressions, of volitions, and of individual acts of attention in order to persist into the future. Now, the benefit of understanding that is that we learn to fuel only positive things within ourselves, as well as that we learn to see to it that we don't fuel the wrong type of things within ourselves. Number 16. Condition of faculties. When body and mind are well melded together, they begin to manifest certain faculties and powers. From the apparently simple capacity of seeing and hearing to the power of attaining samadhi or to attain higher knowledge. The faculties and powers, both physical and mental, a human being is able to manifest are incredibly manifold. Now, the benefit of understanding that is that we learn to understand what a human being is, as well as what a human being is capable of. Number 17. Condition of meditation. Meditation is a training of the mind in samadhi, that is, in higher consciousness. This training involves considerations about the body, with its internal processes, as these play an important role in the workings of the mind, as well as about different qualities and functions of the mind, such as mental application and sustainment, joy and oneness. And it too is concerned with distinguishing individual differences in temperament, as these influence how the mind develops. Now, the benefit of understanding this condition is that one gains insight into the nature of higher states of consciousness and how they can be attained. Number 18. Condition of path. This condition concerns the fact that there are ways that have been trodden before, and hence, if we learn about them, we may be able to make use of the knowledge of those who walked those paths before us. In relation to material phenomena, this condition is not only represented by ordinary physical path, but also by energy pathways that exist within the human body, which may be used by the mind of a meditator. In relation to the mind and consciousness, this condition relates to both the path that lead a being downwards into lower conditions of existence, as well as upwards towards more lofty spheres, and along the path that has been walked by those who became enlightened. And hence, the practical relevance of this Patthāna condition is that we can learn and rely on the knowledge and wisdom of those who have walked a certain path before us. Number 19. Condition of attraction. Universes are held together by the force of attraction. Societies, friendships, and for that matter, any material compound, all are bound by this force or condition. In relation to matter, it is best illustrated by the attraction between two magnets, while in relation to mind, it is most obvious in sexual attraction and emotional bonds. Even in relation to consciousness, it can be found in attachments, as well as in the various ways an individual consciousness is attracted to things of individual interest. Now, the benefit of understanding this condition is that we actually can change what we are attracted to. Hence, we can change from being attracted to unwholesome or unsuitable things to things that improve our wisdom and goodness. Number 20. Condition of repulsion. Where there is attraction, there is also repulsion. Hatred, conflict, and even the immune system pushing back against disease. All are expressions of this force. On the level of matter, it is a force that keeps certain things apart, like the negative poles of two magnets. Without it, the world would just collapse into one chaotic clump. In biology, repulsion keeps danger at bay. Immune cells attack invaders. Bodies recoil from harm. And nature develops defenses. In the mind, repulsion shows up as aversion. That gut reaction of, I don't like this. It might be towards a person, a situation, a memory, or even a part of ourselves that we don't want to face. Finally, in relation to consciousness, it shapes how we turn away from certain thoughts, avoid truth or distractions, or push uncomfortable or temporarily useless experiences into the background. Hence, the benefit of understanding this condition is that we can learn the benefit of putting up boundaries to defend or protect ourselves, not just from forces that come from without, but equally within, from undesirable thoughts and emotions we don't want to allow into our minds or into our consciousness. Number 21. Condition of presence or being. This condition is about how whatever outer or inner thing or state existing presently is conditioning other objects or subjects by its mere presence. In relation to matter, everything that happens to you now and that in some manner modifies or changes you is an example of this condition. Similarly with the mind, a present thought, mood, or state of mind can equally condition you in spite of whatever you might have planned or expected. Now, when thinking about consciousness, it is best to think about this condition in relation to how we as an individual condition things and other people merely by our presence. And so the benefit of understanding this condition is that we learn to appreciate that sometimes the present moment holds some seemingly magic powers to influence and alter things despite all causality, preparations, and plans. Number 22. Condition of absence or non-being. As the presence of something can condition us, so can the absence of it. In the realm of matter, we can think about how the presence of a person or a familiar thing might affect us when it suddenly perishes, and hence is no more conditioning us through its presence. Equally so in matters of the mind. Whenever we forget something that is relevant to our lives, that absence of memory may at times have a quite drastic effect on ourselves and our situation. But not only memory, but the lack of a certain needed or wanted state of mind, or lack of a quality of character, may change everything. Lack of courage in a dangerous situation, lack of wisdom when faced with complex life circumstances, or lack of restraint when indulgence is fatal. All these make clear how absences can condition us. Hence, the relevance of understanding this condition is that it might help us to appreciate the power of absences. In some cases, this might inspire us to prepare for the eventual absence of what we might take for granted. In other cases, it might help us to not only blame the presence of undesirable things without, but to think about that failure in a certain situation might be due to a certain absence of something needed within ourselves. Number 23. Condition of impermanence. This condition is about the fact that all things, sooner or later, come to an end. Now, in relation to matter, most of us have lost many things in the course of our lives, which is sometimes hard to accept with things that we cherish and value. For many of us, it becomes slowly obvious that even our own body is impermanent and is heading in the direction of destruction. But this condition does not hold only true for material things. It equally applies to mental things. One rather tragic example is the condition of dementia, where a person almost instantaneously forgets everything that occurs to him. This, taken to its furthest extreme, and observing the condition of old age and the condition of old people, we can see that even personality, the core of consciousness, is impermanent and changes, so that what once was perishes and is replaced by something else. Now, the benefit of knowing that is that it helps us to become less attached to material things and to life, and even to not be entirely identified with our mind. Number 24. Condition of duration. The time between the arising of a certain thing until its end or destruction is called duration. In relation to matter, we may be reminded of the durability of the diamond, which came into existence over vast periods of time and often remains unchanged for equally long durations. On the bodily level, we might think of our bones or certain parts of the body, including large portions of the brain, which remain essentially unaltered for almost the entire span of our lives. But even in relation to mind, there exists duration. One obvious example is our long-term memory, which helps us coordinate a large portion of our lives. Further, over the course of our lives, we create karma, some of which has very far-reaching effects on our lives and our character, and thereby on our consciousness. Hence, the benefit of understanding this condition is that because duration often adds a certain value to things, positive or negative, it can often give us a very good clue as to what is more important to attend to. So, these are the 24 Patthāna conditions, which, together with the 4 Paramatthā, make a complete system for comprehending reality. Now, it's easy to think of these conditions as something distant or purely philosophical. But in truth, the 24 Patthāna conditions are shaping our lives at every moment. They explain why thoughts arise the way they do, why feelings come and go, while one small event can change the whole course of a day, or a larger one the course of a whole life. And hence, they give us the full picture of what to exist truly means. Every time we pause and observe our experience, a sound, a situation, a memory, a feeling, we can see these principles at work. They are the quiet mechanisms behind every joy, every frustration, and every moment of understanding. The Buddha said that to know reality as it is to free the mind. And these 24 conditions and 4 ultimate realities are the framework for that knowing. May they inspire you, not to just learn about reality, but to see it directly in every moment of your day, until eventually the truth becomes your own.